Hello everyone, and welcome to this session of full text retrieval in Covidence. And this is part of our step-by-step webinar series. I'm going to be giving you some information about updates to our full text retrieval features, and I'll also provide a live demonstration of how to use the bulk PDF upload feature in Covidence. So my name is Julie Brown. I am a community manager at Covidence, and I'm based in New Zealand. And I'm also joined today by my colleague Stephanie Harkins, who's based in the USA. And Stephanie is going to be answering some of the questions that you might pose during the session. Today's session is being run in standard webinar mode. So all webinar attendees will be muted, but you can ask questions at any time. And please do that by using the questions box, which you should be able to see on the right-hand side of your screen. If we don't have time to answer your questions before the session ends, then I'll respond directly to you by email afterwards. The session's also recorded, and you'll receive a link to the recording by email within the next 24 hours. So I'm just going to provide a little bit of contextual information about Covidence for anyone who's here that's not already used the platform. So Covidence is a not-for-profit organisation and was created by and for the research community and is designed to kind of streamline the review process. So our software allows you to invite co-reviewers and manage and have oversight of the review process. The platform allows our review teams to significantly reduce the amount of time spent on reviews, and that means that you are able to produce high quality evidence faster. Now we have a full-time team based around the globe who continuously work on improving a product and who provide technical support to our user community. Now Covidence is entirely cloud-based, so there's nothing to download. And we support the world's largest review community with more than 300,000 users around the world. So the focus of our session today is the full text screening stage of the review workflow. So studies move automatically through the review process as they're voted on. And if reviewers vote to include studies at the title and abstract stage, then they're going to appear in the full text review. Now, before we kick off, I'm just going to launch a quick poll. Let me do that now. So I'd like to find out how confident you feel about full text retrieval in Covidence. So do you feel not at all confident, somewhat confident, or are you feeling very confident at the moment? So just give a little bit of time for everyone to complete that. Just a few more people to vote. Nearly there, wonderful. So what I'm seeing at the moment is that about 50-50 people who feel not at all confident and people who feel somewhat confident. And then we've got about 4% of people who are feeling very confident. Great, so I'm going to close that poll. So thank you very much. So you're in the right place. Hopefully by the end of this session, you're going to feel much more confident about being able to do full text retrieval in Covidence. So I'm going to go through some of our features. And then I'll do a live demo to reinforce them so that you can see the features in action. So among our recent upgrades that relate to full text retrieval, you can automatically upload free to access PDFs, and that's done by Covidence. You can drag and drop PDFs onto a full text screening list. You can use DOI, so that's Digital Object Identifier links, where they've been imported and where they're available to take you straight to the journal page or a PDF. And you can view who uploaded the full text. And we've got the improved bulk PDF upload tool. So Covidence automatically adds the full text of open access articles when a study moves into the full text review. And then the remaining PDFs can be added either using the bulk upload feature. They can be uploaded individually, manually, or you can use a combination of the two methods. And that's what most people will do. They'll use a combination. So when a study moves from title and abstract to full text screening, or when you're importing studies directly into full text screening, Covidence uses the DOI that's associated with the study to try and retrieve the full text. So this means that a DOI must be associated with a reference on import, otherwise Covidence can't check if it's open access or if there's a PDF available. So when you export references from databases, I suggest that you really make sure that you select all fields so that when that metadata comes into Covidence, it includes the DOI, and then you optimize the number of full texts that Covidence will be able to find for you. So we use a third party called Unpaywall to retrieve the free to access PDFs. And in a small number of cases, although the study is open access, there isn't a PDF available for Covidence to upload. So we won't be able to identify 100% of open access articles for you, but we will find quite a proportion, and that's going to save you quite a bit of time in terms of your review processes. We now have an improved experience when uploading and managing full text. So you can now drag and drop or select to upload PDFs. And I'll show you how to do that in the demonstration in a moment. You can see that there's a place to add a link. So just here, you can add a link to the full text. And you might want to do that if at some point you have grey literature, for example, that cannot be downloaded in a PDF. So you can add a URL link there, as long as you don't have a PDF already associated with that study. And you can also remove PDFs that have already been uploaded. You can also see who uploaded the full text. So we've got names for who uploaded it and when it was uploaded. And if you've uploaded more than one PDF, you can identify the primary PDF. And you might want to do that because you have an interim study or a conference abstract and an end of study publication. And you will want to identify the end of study publication as the primary reference. You can now open your uploaded full text in one click. So to save you time when you're screening, once you've uploaded a full text, everyone on the reviewing team will be able to see the file name or the link on the screening list, and you just need to click once to open that. So I'll show you that in the demonstration as well. Oops. The bulk PDF upload feature has been around for some time in Covidence, but it's been updated and this works much better now. If you're using a reference manager like EndNote or Zotero, it's the easiest way for you to be able to import a big chunk of your full texts in one go, particularly if your institution has a subscription with a reference manager, which will allow you to access your institutional library in order to retrieve the content, the PDFs. So the basic process for the bulk PDF upload workflow is shown in this figure. A list of references that are missing full text is downloaded. So what this means is that you don't have to download all of the studies, and Covidence have uploaded some for you. You might have uploaded a couple of PDFs as well. And so again, this is about saving you time in the process. You will only have to look for PDFs that are missing attachments. The references are imported into a reference manager like EndNote or Zotero, which is then used to search for and retrieve the PDFs. And then the PDFs, along with their XML file, are then exported from the reference manager and imported into Covidence so that you can start full text screening. There's no need to change file names, no need to change the names of PDFs. Covidence will link the references and the PDFs for you in the way that they've been linked in your reference manager. So I just want to kind of emphasize something that kind of crops up quite regularly with us in the support team. And that's that we work with an EndNote XML format. Now that does not mean that you have to be using EndNote as your reference manager, but it does mean you have to use a program which is able to export your references in an EndNote XML format. So if there's a different reference manager you're using, like Zotero, then that works absolutely fine. You can export from Zotero with an EndNote XML file. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch over to a live demo for you. And I think it's a lot easier for you to kind of see in real time how some of these features work. So I'm just going to switch over. Let's go back a stage. So what we have here is a review that I already have uploaded. So I got full text here. I've imported some studies, and now I want to add some PDFs to those. So the first thing I'm going to show you is what the open access studies look like. So I'm going to click on continue here. And in order to have a look at those studies, I'm going to click on the filter button. And you can see here there's an option for me to look at the studies that already have full text and the studies that need full text. So if I click on has full text and then the blue filter button, I can see that there are 30 studies that have been found that already have full text associated with them. And for each of these, it's going to say that it's been uploaded by Covidence. It's an open access article. So this means that as reviewers, you can keep track of who's uploading files. You can see where they've come from. So in this instance, you can immediately see that this is an open access study and that Covidence has uploaded it for you. The one click, just click on the PDF and there's your PDF immediately in front of you so you can screen. So all of these you can see are open access ones. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to locate a study that I found a PDF for that I want to upload in a different way. So I'm just going to enter the study ID number in here. Now, if I want to manually upload my full text, I can do it in a couple of ways. So here's the select study option. So I'm going to click upload full text. And from here, I can select the study that I want. So I'm going to choose my file here. I've got my study, my PDF. Click open. So this is uploading that PDF for me. I can see the progress bar. So immediately I can see I've got the full text, when I uploaded it, who uploaded it, and at the moment this is the primary study PDF for this reference. When I'm in full text screening, I can now see who uploaded the study. Again, the one click to open the PDF. Now, if I've made a mistake, I can just come here and I can delete that PDF. Okay, and that removes it from the associated reference. So that's very easy to do. The other option to add a PDF is to drag and drop. So I'm just going to minimize my screen. If I want to drag and drop, this is such an easy process. Just grab the PDF, drag and drop it over. So you can see that the screen immediately changes and is highlighted in blue, so you can see something's going on. I'm going to drop my PDF. And again, that PDF's uploaded for you. Exactly the same. We can manage the full text. We can delete it if it was the wrong one. And one click to open. So also sometimes when you're trying to locate PDFs, you can use the DOI. So remember I said it was really important that when we're importing references that you select all fields, and that means that the DOI comes across. That not only helps Covidence try and locate the free PDFs for you, but it also can help you locate PDFs as well. So I'm going to pull up another study here. So I've got a study. I want to see if I can access the PDF for this one. So I'm going to see there's a hyperlink for the DOI. And I click on that hyperlink, it's going to take me straight to the journal. So here I've got a number of different options. So I can click on the PDF, I can download it. I can either add that to my reference manager and attach it to the reference there, or I can manually upload it as I've just shown you by using drag and drop or select a study option. I've also got a couple of extensions that I've added to, I'm using Chrome, and I've got a couple of extensions that I've added which are really, really useful. So I've got EndNote Click here. So if you're using EndNote, this can be used to automatically upload a PDF to your reference manager, or again, you can just download it. I've also got another open access extension here, which will also locate the PDF for me. So these are really useful. You can just download them. They're free extensions that can make a lot of difference to helping you locate PDFs. So that's the DOI. Now, when you're in full text review, the next thing I'm going to show you is the bulk upload of missing full texts. So I'm going to click on this blue button at the top here. So we know that Covidence has found a couple of open access PDFs for me. So now I want to try and locate some of the missing studies and the PDFs associated with those. So the first thing, because the great thing here is now that we've got steps for you to follow, makes it much easier. the first step is to click on Download Studies. And what this does is it creates the RIS format, RIS text format that you can import into your reference manager. And then if available, you can use your library credentials to find your PDFs. So that's the first step. I'm going to be showing you how this works in EndNote as my reference manager. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open an EndNote file library. So what I've done is I've already imported that XML file just to save time. So I've got my references here. Now to automatically start to retrieve the PDFs, you've got a couple of options. You can either select the studies that you want to locate PDFs for. Then I'm going to right click and I'm going to select Find Full Text. So that's one option. And the other option is to use this icon here, which has got a little magnifying glass on it. And that will also perform the same action. That will look for full texts using EndNote. Okay, so again, I've done that in advance because it can take a little while for that action to happen. So EndNote will try and locate PDFs for you. If it can't locate PDFs, it'll try and locate URLs for you. So the links, and what it does is it imports those, and once it's uploaded a PDF for you, you get a little paperclip icon appear, and you'll know that each of these studies now has a PDF associated with it. If I've located a PDF outside of EndNote, then I can attach the file by using this option here. So if I've got a new study, I can attach the PDF manually. So now I've got my PDFs and I want to move those now into my Covidence file. So a couple of things I want to bring to attention before I show you how to do that is that the bulk PDF import tool will not be able to find a PDF for every reference. And its performance in EndNote and Zotero is really going to depend on the access that you have to these articles. So if you don't have access via an institutional library, it's going to take you a little bit longer to find your PDFs. If you are using a reference manager via your institution and you're still not retrieving as many PDFs as you would expect, then you may not have your library may not be synced to your EndNote library may not be synced to your institutional library. So in those circumstances, I would suggest that you make contact with your institutional librarian or library services and see if they can help you. In some instances, although the library has access to an article, the reference manager itself cannot link successfully with the proxy system. So again, you may need to contact the librarians or your IT department. Sometimes you need to request an interlibrary loan, and depending on the funding that you have, you may be able to access that facility. You can then usually manually upload those references because they come a little bit later. And as I said, you can, in EndNote, you can use the attach file to link a new PDF to a reference. Or you can manually upload that PDF straight into Covidence. So the aim of the bulk upload tool is basically to make retrieval as fast and easy and as comprehensive as possible based on all those issues that we have around paywalls and proxy URLs, for example. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to export these references that I've got with PDFs into Covidence. So the first thing I need to do is to select the studies I want to export. So I've exported those. I'm going to right-click. Oops, no, I'm going to go to File, I beg your pardon. I'm going to Export. This time I want to make sure that I'm exporting as an XML format. I'm going to save that file. And I'm going to go back to Covidence. And step 3 is to drag and drop or choose my XML file. So I'm going to choose the XML file. That's here. So Covidence is busy working here. As you can see, it's going to tell me how many files it's expecting. Okay, so in that file that I imported, Covidence is expecting me to upload 15 PDFs. So in EndNote, you have not only your EndNote library, but you also have an associated file, which is a .dat extension. And that's the extension that includes your PDFs. So I'm just going to go to my folder and show you. Here we are. So you can hopefully see I've got my EndNote library, my XML file, but I've also got this .data folder. And in there is the PDF folder. This is automatically created by EndNote. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to create this yourself. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drag and drop that over. You're seeing Covidence is now importing those. And I can see that all 15 PDFs have been uploaded. So I know it was expecting 15. 15 have been uploaded there successfully. Now, one thing to note is that if you have a lot of PDFs, or they're very large PDFs, you may need to do that process several times. So it might say that there were 100 PDFs that you were trying to upload, and then you find out that it only successfully uploaded 50 of them. Do the process again, and the number should increase. So it's just to do with the file size that's being imported in one particular session. So I can now go back to my full text screening. When I go to filter, I can click on as full text. Now I can see that I've got 46 studies. Okay, so we've successfully imported some additional studies there, PDFs. I'm just going to try and scroll down and see if there's one that has my name on it. Probably not. Apologies for there we go. So here's the other ones that I've uploaded. So here you can see the first one on the screen was uploaded by Covidence, free to access. Now you can see that there are ones that have been uploaded by myself using the bulk upload function. So what I'm going to do is so I know that some people use Zotero as an alternative. So obviously that's a little bit different. I'm just going to show you that as a demonstration, just because I think it is a commonly used reference management tool where you don't have EndNote, and Zotero is a free to download tool. So it's very much the same. I've exported my XML, my risk text list into my reference manager. Here it is. I've attached PDFs, as you can see. This time I'm going to, in Zotero, I'm going to select the studies I want to export. I'm going to right click and export items. Here, I'm going to select EndNote XML. So in Zotero, they've got a number of different options for you to export files. I'm going to select EndNote XML. It's really important when you're using Zotero that you also include export files. These are the PDFs, so it's important that you export those as well. Click on OK. This is just telling me where the folder is going to be saved. Let's get rid of these for you. So this time, I've got my files saved in this exported items folder. You can give it any name that you like. So here with Zotero, this particular folder now includes the XML file for me to take over to Covidence, and the PDF folder for me to drag and drop. So let's go back and I'll import this one so you can see this one working as well. So I'm going to go back to the top of the screen, going to bulk upload. I'm going to choose my file. It was exported items. So I'm going to choose my XML file. Open. So we can see the buttons moving. Covidence is looking to see how many files it's expecting. Okay, so it's located 13 missing full texts. So if you're doing it from a different database, of course, you might have already imported some PDFs from the first database. It's probably happened in this example, but we still found 13. Now I'm going to import the PDF folder. So I'm going to go to my exported items. I'm going to take the PDF folder. I'm going to drag and drop. Again, we can see that Covidence is busy working. And there we are, all 13 PDFs I was expecting have been uploaded. I go back to the screening. Go to filter. Want to see how many studies I've got now that have PDFs attached to them. And now I've got 59 studies. If you wanted to see which studies still didn't have PDFs, you've got that option there as well. So I can click on studies that still need full text, and then the blue filter button. And now I have the list of the studies that still need full text finding for them. So in these circumstances, I can try and locate those and manually add the PDFs in the ways that I've shown you. Another question that often comes up for us as community managers is a question about the ability to export PDFs. from Covidence. So because of international copyright laws, and because different team members at different institutions may have imported the PDFs, it's not currently possible to export PDFs directly from Covidence. It's something that we're kind of hopefully working towards being able to share data like that, but it's not currently possible. But you are likely to have most of your PDFs in your reference managers as well. So that basically covers the overview of the full text retrieval process. I'm just going to run another poll to see if that's helped you. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, you can pop those into the system and we'll have a look at them. So having seen the demonstration, I'd just like to know now how confident you feel about full text retrieval in Covidence. So not at all confident, somewhat confident, or very confident. Let's just give a few more moments for that. Okay, so a few more people to just click a button. So now it looks as though we've had a nice move in those options. So now 40% of you feel very confident, where it was 4% at the beginning. 57%-ish feel somewhat confident, and we've got 4% now who are still not at all confident. So in general, it looks as though the webinars worked really well. So what I suggest is that you can either listen back, obviously, to the recording when the link is sent to you. I'm also going to show you ways that you can also find out more information. So on every page of the Covidence platform, you have a little button here that says Need Help. So here, if you need to ask us a question at the support team, you can send us an email from here. Just click on the blue Send Email button, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. You can also explore the knowledge base or search for specific articles using that option. The little question mark at the top of the screen is also a help and allows you to go straight to our knowledge base as well. Okay, so here with the knowledge base, it's broken up into some great sections. And if we scroll through these, we can see that there are options here about importing references and about screening studies, exporting data, and so on. So all the information that you need is included in here. There's also information about upcoming webinars. You can click on here and register for upcoming webinars, and also there's recent webinars. So again, it's an option. If there's a webinar that you've missed, you can locate it there, and there's always a link to a recording. So I'm just going to look at some of the questions that have come in. And Stephanie, you're welcome to kind of join as well if there are some questions that you want to feedback on.
Sure. Hey, Julie. We've had a couple questions along the lines of how can we help troubleshoot any imports? So I believe I put an answer that you know, we can, us at Covidence, we can help troubleshoot your import if you have any trouble, but we cannot actually import articles for you on your behalf because your university or your institution has a wide range and variety of different subscriptions to different journals. So we can't actually retrieve the bulk of your we can't actually retrieve all of the full texts for you. So you might need to work with your institutional or university librarian if you're having trouble getting access to certain articles. But we're more than happy to work with you. And this session is being recorded and will be posted and sent out to all registrants to come back to.
Wonderful, thank you. And I can see, thank you, Suzanne has asked some questions around whether we're available in person when using this process, and will the course be offered again? So because there are community managers who are based around the world, so I'm in New Zealand, Stephanie's in the USA with another colleague. We've also got colleagues in the Philippines, the UK, and Pakistan and Egypt. So because we're kind of so broadly spread around, there's usually someone who would be available in your time zone. So if you do run into difficulties, you can contact the community managers and we'll be able to offer you some advice if you're stuck with a particular section of the importing. This course will be offered again, but it won't be for a little while. It'll probably be another 4 or 5 months before we run this particular step-by-step webinar again. But as I said, if you go to the recent webinars option, this recording will be posted there, and there are other recordings as well. So you can access those. Also, if you feel that, if you belong to an institution and you feel that your institution would benefit from this particular webinar, you can contact your librarians if they have an institutional account with us, and we can provide this session specifically for your university.
Hey, Julie, we have a question that came through about if you can export a list of studies that need full text. Can you show them how to do that in CSV format?
I certainly can, thank you. So if you want to export the list, excuse me, go to the review summary page for your review and click on the export button. And then you have the option to export references here in the first box here. So I can select the option, and you can see here the list of the different stages of the review. So if I want to include studies missing full text, there's my option there. The format, I can export in a CSV, which you can then open in Excel, or I can export directly to one of the reference managers that's listed here. So EndNote, Mendeley, RefWorks, or Zotero. So I think that answers that question.
Thanks, Julie. There's another one, Julie, you might be able to answer. Does the bulk, so somebody has a file of PDFs saved locally to their computer that's not associated with Zotero or EndNote. Can they upload that file into Covidence?
Yep, so as long as you've got the XML file that matches the PDFs, you can do that. Otherwise, you would have to manually upload them. So Covidence needs the XML file to tell it what it's anticipating, and then the PDF file that matches it. So if you don't have the XML file, it won't be able to identify the PDFs in your folder. If that makes sense. Any other questions? And there are a few more here that haven't been answered. Just looking through them. So someone's asked, is there a possibility to have the same record number that you have in EndNote? So that isn't really an option at the moment. Covidence has its own ID numbers, but what Covidence is doing when it's doing the bulk PDF retrieval and upload is it's matching the reference with the PDF that's attached to it. So it's only information that's already available. It can't grab the record number from EndNote. I'm afraid that's not an option at the moment. I'm just looking.
There's a question about if there's any differences to take note of in terms of the appearance of Covidence on a Mac or a PC.
Not that I'm aware of. I'm using a Mac, so that's the view that you're getting at the moment. I think that any differences will be in the way that the reference manager appears. So when you saw my version of EndNote and Zotero, not only is that an EndNote on a Mac, but I might also have a different version number of EndNote to yourselves. The important thing to note is that whichever version that you're looking at, you just need to make sure that you're exporting when you're ready to bring your files into Covidence, that it's in an XML EndNote format, and that if you're using Zotero, that you import the files as well.
Yes, and I'll add Covidence shouldn't have any differences between a Mac and a PC since we're web-based. Any differences would be based on browser, but the reference managers could have a different look, yes.
Yeah.
I think that's all of the questions here, Julie, that I've seen. We have lots of nice thank yous and thank you guys.
Yeah. I hope it's been clear. I know it sometimes appears quite rushed and for you to take in all the information. And so, as I said, please feel free once you get the recording to listen to it again in your own time. And if when you listen to it again, you have more questions, just drop the community managers a line. So just at support@covidence.org. As I said, we get back to people very quickly with answers. The recording will be sent out by email and within the next 24 hours for those people that have been asking that.
Joyce asked a question, Julie, if we can upload a Word file of references.
A Word file, is that, I'm not quite clear if it's upload a Word file of references or do you want to upload a Word document? So we can't upload Word files of references. They have to be in an EndNote XML format. If you just convert a Word file into an XML document, it won't be accepted by Covidence. Covidence will allow you to upload a docx file. So as well as a PDF, you could add a Word document, if that helps. Joyce, I'm not sure if that answers your question. All right, so a Word doc. So yes, as well as a PDF, you can upload a Word document, a docx file. I'd like me to show you. Okay, let me see if I can create a Word file. not sure that I've got one available that I could actually use, but it's very, very similar. So if I go to my files, again, if I wanted this as a Word file, I would probably do this manually. I'd simply go to upload full text, and then I'd choose a file option, select your Word document, and upload it, and it will appear as a docx file that you will then be able to see. I'm afraid I don't have a Word document that I would be able to upload in this instance as an example. So someone's been asking about any other webinars. So again, if we go to the knowledge base, let's look at some upcoming webinars. We've got a general 101, which is a kind of an overview of the entire platform that will be coming up on the 25th of July. And that's based in the Southern Hemisphere. So that's 1 p.m. Australian time, Melbourne time. And then on the 22nd of August, there's another general overview webinar that's being held in CDT time, in the US. And part of our step-by-step webinars, you'll see them appearing here. We've got the full text one now. I believe there will be another review. Here we go. Setting up the review is the next one, and that's going to be on the 8th of August, starting at 3 p.m. British Standard Time, summertime. And you can just click to register. We've also got a community webinar coming up. So these are webinars that are usually a little bit more kind of, they're not specific about Covidence necessarily, but this one we're turning the floor over to you basically. So the 29th of August, it's being run 7 p.m. New Zealand time and recorded. This one is the floor is yours. So when you register, you can ask us a question about Covidence, anything that you want, not specifically about a review issue that you have, but anything about the platform, about something you'd like to know a little bit more about. If you want to know more about our machine learning features, for example, you can ask a question about that, and then we will present and discuss the questions that have been asked. So I'd love to see all of you guys at that particular webinar submit your question. I look forward to that. We've got time to, so someone has asked, can you export excluded studies in the form of a Word document and not Excel? So not at the moment. You can export studies in those formats that I showed you. Just go back again. We export. So these are the formats that we currently have. So you can export it into a CSV file, open it in Excel, and then export it into a Word document that way, or into a reference manager and then export from a reference manager into a Word document. But we don't currently have that, that option, I'm afraid. Vanessa, thank you for asking. And Joyce, we can't import Word files with a list of references. As I said, the document would have to be in an XML format, not a Word format. Okay, so it looks as though the questions have coming through. One more, sorry, Leanne, I can see you've asked, do you have a section on analysing data from those selected articles from Covidence? So we don't have a section on analysing data. We have the next step on, once you've retrieved your articles and screened full text, is to then conduct data extraction. And the step after that is analysing your data. So in Covidence at the moment, you can extract the data and export it, but we don't have a way of you being able to analyse the data within Covidence at present.
Julie, Gabseel has a question that I'm actually not sure how to answer. Maybe you do, because you're better at EndNote than me. Her question is, I've been trying to do the bulk upload from EndNote. I exported the XML file. However, the .data file with the PDFs does not appear. Do you know how she could troubleshoot that? If the data file is not appearing with her EndNote export.
Okay, so let me just going to go back to my screen and open EndNote. So it's going to let me open it. So your EndNote, you have your EndNote library. And for each library that you will have a folder that has the EndNote library itself and this .data folder. If you have PDFs attached in your library, they will appear in here. So when I open this, I've got a folder that's associated with each individual PDF. So that should be associated with your library, and it's often on your desktop in a different section. So you will see your library separately to the .data folder. If you don't have any PDFs associated, if you've only got URLs, for example, this folder is going to be empty and you won't see anything in it. So if you're still having problems, then just send us a message, an email, and I can help you investigate that a little bit further. So Joyce has asked, is there a common database where we can check for certain articles or search for a topic? If you're trying to find a PDF, you're unlikely to need to go back to a database. What you need to do is to either use your reference manager to locate it, or to use that DOI option that I showed you. So just quickly, this will be the last question we have time to answer. Just going to go back. So if you want to locate this particular reference, you can click on the DOI. There isn't really a database where that contains these PDFs. They're going to be associated with journals. And so you're going to need to, sorry, I can't hide that. You're going to need to actually go to the journal itself to locate the article and download it. They're not held in databases.
Joyce, I'll also add, sometimes it's very useful to consult with your university librarian on this based on where you are in the world. Different databases are made available through your institutions. So your librarian can probably help you on determining which database would be best to search in based what's available to you and where you're located in the world.
Yep. So sometimes universities will have access to the Scopus database. And then if you try to locate a particular article there, if the library has free access to those journals, you'll be able to locate it through that kind of database like Scopus. But as Stephanie says, you need to contact your university librarians for that kind of information. Okay, so we're going to finish there. Thank you very much for everyone who's listened to us and been patient, and for all the wonderful questions that you've submitted to us. And we hope to see you at another one of our webinars. And I do hope that this has been useful for you. So thank you very much for all your attention. Bye now.